I was all set to bring you guys content, okay? I was going to talk about the top 10 offensive coordinator, candidates for the Philadelphia Eagles. And news breaks that my number one target, Marcus Brady, the quarterback coach on the Colts, had the very likely scenario that I was going to predict to you guys that it was unlikely my number one candidate would come to the Eagles because the common sense thing would be to just slide in from quarterback's coach to offensive coordinator if you're Frank Reich. That's what they did. So, yeah, my new top 10 offensive coordinator candidates for Nick Sirianni and this new 2021 Philadelphia Eagles football team. All right, guys, let me get to it. What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, division rivals? This is Stephen Hyder with Gate City Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever it is you get around to watching this. Once again, guys, my name is Stephen Hyder, and this is Gate City Sports Channel. All right, guys, today's topic. We're talking about the top 10 offensive, coordinator candidates for the Philadelphia Eagles in the 2021 season. Look, I'm not really going to give these in any particular order. I'm just going to give you 10 candidates, basically, and we'll talk about each of them, right? Because it's going to be really difficult to predict this, right? Each of them have varying, relationships back to Nick Sirianni. So, I mean, I don't know how to judge how well he knows these guys or how much control that the front office is going to have in this decision. I think there's a bad narrative that this guy is going to be a push-around like Doug. There's more fire in the soul of this guy than Doug. I don't think he's the same, happy-go-lucky kind of character that Doug is. Definitely a player's coach. He's not that happy-go-lucky, guys. I think this dude has more fight in him than has been given credit for. With that said, we got to look. There's a lot of interest that's going to be competing in that front office, guys. I mean, from Alex Hallaby, right, to, you can look at your other personnel guys that you got that were kind of the holdovers, if you will, from previous, coaching staff or previous, front offices that they got brought in here, guys. So, I mean, there's a lot of competing interest, guys. It's really hard to say here. John Dorsey might want to say he's got relationships with some of these guys. Howie Roseman might want to say. I don't know, but I'm just going off of the relationship to the head coach. All right, guys, I think some of these decisions will tell us a lot about what's going on. All right, y'all. Without further ado, candidate number one, if you're ready. Candidate number one, Anthony Lynn. Listen, former head coach. If I'm the owner, I'm going to imagine he's going to want somebody on the staff. It doesn't have to be your OC. It doesn't have to be your DC. It can be a quarterback coach or something like that, right? Someone that you trust, someone that has head coach, experience before to help a young guy in a new transitioning period. I just think Anthony Lynn, who just went through the ringer as the Chargers head coach, and a guy who kept this man on his staff until he left to become the offensive coordinator in Indianapolis. I think he makes a lot of sense here. I mean, Anthony Lynn, this is a guy whose system could be, it's probably a little different than Nick Sirianni, but I mean, it's not like Anthony Lynn is completely ignorant to using two tight end sets or multiple tight end sets and using 11-man personnel concepts. I don't think this is a crazy out of the blue kind of thing here. I think most of us kind of knew that was going to be number one. So let's go to number two. Number two, Shane Steichen. I think it's how you say his name, guys. Shane Steichen was formerly the quarterback coach of the Chargers, who became the offensive coordinator underneath Anthony Lynn. Shane Steichen is, it's kind of back and forth between him or Pep Hamilton, who's responsible for developing, basically Herbert. I don't know. I don't know who should be given the credit here, guys, but I know that Shane Steichen he's a good candidate. He also coached here with Sirianni with the Chargers when they were in San Diego. They know each other. There's familiarity here. It makes sense, guys. I could see that being a number two kind of target here. All right, let's move on to the number three target, guys. Number three target. It's not that I'm saying he's a number three candidate, per se, in order, but I'm just sticking to the Los Angeles Chargers theme here. And I'm going to say Pep Hamilton. He was a quarterback coach, Pep Hamilton, as being OC in Indianapolis before, so there's even a connection back to Indianapolis. So I mean, like if the world align and Gate City gets his wish, Pep Hamilton. Pep Hamilton makes a lot of sense. I could also see Pep Hamilton as a quarterback coach candidate too, guys. So same thing could be same with Shane Steichen. I think he could be an OC or a quarterback coach candidate. Could even make that argument about Anthony Lynn, but I think he's much better suited to be an OC. That would be my number 3 guy, would be Pep Hamilton. Let me get into number 4. My number 4 candidate, once again, linking all the way back to the Los Angeles Chargers, guys. It's not going to be a popular pick, guys. I understand this, but there's a history here. The history has to be considered, okay? My number 4 candidate, Mike McCoy. He was the original kind of head coach here with the Chargers before he got succeeded by essentially Anthony Lynn, okay? He's brought Sirianni into his system. He brought Sirianni into his scheme. Like, maybe he circles back and makes Mike McCoy his either offensive coordinator or his quarterback coach. I could see either one. Mike McCoy's been out of the league a couple of years. I know that there was some rumors floating around of him being the OC last year. As long as it's not Mike McCoy's system and he's just contributing to Sirianni's system, I can accept it. I'm not going to be thrilled about it. Certainly not my number 1 pick here, but I could understand that could definitely circle back around to us, and we could see that, right? All right, my number 5. My number 5 pick, this would take us all the way back to the days of Kansas City. Former Washington football team head coach Jim Zorn. Before he was, well, not before, but after, I guess it was after he was the Washington football team's head coach, he actually had a stint in Kansas City as the quarterback coach there, okay? Jim Zorn was known at one point in time as being a quarterback whisperer. I could see Jim Zorn being a candidate for not only quarterback coach, but offensive coordinator as well. I'm not going to say that's my favorite, guys. I mean, it is what it is kind of with that one, but yeah, I could see that. All right, guys, moving on. My number 6 guy I'm going to put up here. Let's go back to Indianapolis. This one will be a crowd favorite. I like this candidate. It's just a matter of his health, guys. He took time off to be with his kids and to try to fix his health situation. So I don't know where he stands with that currently, but Jim Caldwell. Jim Caldwell makes a lot of sense, guys. I mean, yes, connection back to Indianapolis. He's never coached with Jim Caldwell that I know of, guys, but Jim Caldwell's an experienced guy. He's a former head coach. He's got an Indianapolis connection. Maybe people that are familiar with Indianapolis can kind of get on the horn and make this happen. Jim Caldwell, guys, makes a lot of sense to me, right? All right, number 7, I believe, guys. Let's stay in Indianapolis. Let's stay to the current staff. The passing game specialist in Indianapolis, a guy that's got over 10 years of experience as a coach, Kevin Patullo. I don't know how you say his last name exactly, guys, but Kevin Patullo, he's a guy that has helped design this passing game that we saw become a success for essentially Nick Sirianni being launched into a head coaching position. And to be quite, frank about Frank Reich, help him have success in Indianapolis as a head coach. So Kevin Patullo would make a lot of sense coming in here as an offensive coordinator, keeping continuity with that system, right? I mean, it makes sense, guys. I could see that. Kind of continuing, I guess this would be number 8, guys, if I'm not mistaken. Let's jump and let's get into some kind of crazy theory kind of things, if you will, guys. So, what about Josh McCown? Josh McCown makes sense, right? Number 8. We know Josh McCown has a good relationship with Carson Wentz. I would definitely probably rather have Josh McCown as a quarterback coach than an offensive coordinator, but this is a guy with a smart mind. It makes sense to me. Josh McCown. Number 9. Another just throwing darts at the board, hoping something sticks, guys. Shane Waldron. Shane Waldron is currently the passing game coordinator of the Los Angeles Rams. I will say this name has been floated out there by a lot of people. Let me push back just for a second. I'm not a huge fan here, guys. Shane Waldron, it's a difference in scheme. That's my problem. This is a completely different scheme here, guys. Like, Shane Waldron's under center with his quarterbacks, multiple like play action, kind of bootleg action. It's just things that we haven't seen from this system. I personally love that system. It's not the system that's run in Indianapolis. So I don't know the likelihood of the fit there. Last but not least, guys, keeping it in-house. Duce Daily, and boy, oh boy, let's talk about Duce Daily. Here's the issue. There was an article written in the Inquirer that implied that in 2018, Duce Daily could have been the offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles. But Domowich, whatever his name is, who wrote it, said he turned it down. He said he turned it down because it didn't have play calling abilities. I don't know if that's true or not, guys. I don't know. I need to check this man's sources. What did he do to vet his sources? Did he counter check to see if maybe there was a differing narrative there? I don't know. If it is true, it's really hard to defend Duce on that, man. But I don't know if it's true. That's the problem. I would hope that if it is true, on the second time around, maybe Duce would understand that taking an OC position, even if it doesn't have play calling, can still catapult you into stardom. A head coaching job, right? Now you got the record of developing all the running backs on your resume. You've been an OC. You've got game design. You caught a little 2-minute offense or whatever. Like, I hope it comes back around to this, guys, but I don't know. I'm not saying Duce is my number 10. I'm saying just a 10th candidate. I wanted to save him last, guys, obviously, because I know it's going to spark controversy. Let me know what you think, guys. Concluding thoughts here. Who are your favorites out of this? Did I miss anyone that you guys know of a connection back to this young man, right? Or someone else is making a connection to them? Let me know, all right? Give me your thoughts down below, guys. Let me know your people. Let me know the things you're hearing. Let me know the guys that you may have found out I missed that have a connection on the offensive side back to Nick. Let me know. All right, guys. Peace. I'm out of here. Woo! Hopefully we get answers soon, guys.